What's up everyone, it's David here, and in this video I'll talk about 10 common interview questions and some tips and tricks to help tackle those questions. And I am 100% sure that at least one of these questions will pop up in your next interview, so pay attention. Before I get into these 10 questions, I would like to recommend everyone who's watching this video to take notes, because if you're having a virtual interview, guess what? You can pull your notes up and read right off of them when your recruiter asks these questions. Doesn't that just sound amazing? Question number 1. Tell me about yourself. So this question is pretty much guaranteed to be the first question you'll be asked in every single job interview you get in the future. And I know, I don't love this question either. I mean, it's such a vague question that can be pretty difficult to prompt. So let me help you. Now, unlike what you may think, when recruiters ask this question, they are not looking for your life story. They are also not looking for a summary of your resume. They have your resume right in front of them. What they are looking for is a pitch. So let's come up with our pitch. Here's a good way to structure your pitch. First, start by briefly introducing yourself. You can do that by saying your name and talk about your background and passion. Then talk about some of your achievements or interests that are relevant to the position you're applying for. Lastly, end the pitch with a reason why you're a good fit for the job. Here's my example response. Hi, my name is David. I have a background in social media marketing, communications, and UX design. I'm very passionate about technology and an innovation that can create systems to improve lives. I am very excited to have this opportunity to interview for this company, as we seem to have the same values and goals. Hint hint, you should probably type up a response to this question before every interview, so you don't have to impromptu it. Question number 2. Why did you apply for this position? The purpose of this question is for the recruiter to see how passionate you are for this position. So I think it goes without saying that you should probably not respond to this question with anything related to getting paid, even if it is your only motivation for applying for this position, because your passion or lack of passion will be very evident during the interview process. I mean, if there's one thing a recruiter can do very well besides throwing resumes away, it is that they can feel how dedicated a candidate is and whether or not they're a good fit for the team. So if you only talk about making money, you are probably not going to get the job, and you'll probably not get another interview from that company ever again. So with that said, here's how I would go about this question. I would first talk about any specific motivations towards applying for this position. A very good way to do this is by picking a job responsibility in the job description that you're really excited about and talk about it. Then I'll talk about why I would like to work for this company. This is where researching about the company comes to play. Talk about some of the unique facts about this company that stuck out to you and how you can fit in. Here's my example response. I have always wanted to get into marketing. I've done multiple promotional jobs in the past, and I'm ready to provide value with my skills and experiences in designing marketing strategies that generates results. I've been following your company for many years, and I just love how you are changing the way we use electronics to create a more renewable energy source in America. Question number 3. How did you hear about this position? Now, this may seem like a very easy question, and while it certainly is, you can also leverage this question to your advantage as an additional opportunity to express your interest. So to answer this question, pick something you really like about the company based off of your research and talk about it. Make it seem like you've been following this company for a long time, or that you're a customer of this company. If you were referred by someone who works within this company, feel free to address that as well. Here's my example response. I've been following your company for many years, and I love how you are changing the way we use electronics and circuits to create a more renewable energy source in America. I love the company's passion for creating a super intuitive hardware, and I would just love to be a part of it. When I saw the job ad, even though I wasn't actively looking for a job at the time, I still couldn't help but apply. Question number 4. What are your biggest strengths? For this question, you have 2 options. To answer with an actual strength of yours, or to answer with what your recruiter wants to hear. They're both equally solid options, so it's really up to your judgment on which way to go. In fact, you could probably go both ways simultaneously if you want. I recommend picking 2 skills that will help you excel at this particular job. Going through the job description can help as well. I recommend including 1 technical skill and 1 practical skill. That way your recruiter will know that you have both the skills and mentality to excel in this role. Here's my example response. My biggest strength is that I'm very good at learning new skills. Throughout my time in school, I've interned for many different roles at many different companies. As a marketing intern at company XYZ, I was responsible for writing blogs that help improve the website SEO. Even though I never had any previous experience or training with SEO marketing, I use various online resources to help me learn as quickly as possible. With several free analytical tools, I became really good at coming up with a list of potential SEO terms to target and come up with blogs. Question number 5. What is your biggest weakness? This can be a pretty tricky question actually, because I'm very certain that you do not want to mention one of your flaws during an interview. Now, if you are asked this question, please do not be cocky and claim that you have no weaknesses, because clearly in that case, your ego is a weakness and you're not impressing anyone. And trust me, as amazing as you may sound on paper, your recruiter knows that you're a human and you have your flaws, just like everyone else on this planet. Otherwise, there is no reason why they'll even ask you this question. So I've seen a lot of TikToks around how to go about this question, and some of the responses are pretty interesting to say the least. I wouldn't say any of them are particularly inappropriate, but if you go off exactly what TikTokers say in your response, you put yourself at risk of your recruiter noticing that. After all, these TikToks likely have millions of views, and you could bet a lot of people would use that same exact response word for word. And since recruiters probably conduct thousands of interviews every year, chances are they can tell if you stole a response. So, personalize it. Here's what I would do. Talk about a weakness that you're persistently trying to improve that would not impact your performance in this job. So for example, let's say if you're applying for a research position, I would not recommend saying writing or chemistry as your weakness. It's a good idea to talk about how you're working to improve this weakness as well, because recruiters absolutely love humble people who are self-aware of their flaws and are willing to persistently improve. Here's my sample response that I do not want being recycled. My biggest weakness is my physical fitness. Throughout my life, I've always struggled with my weight. Over the years, I've gotten better at managing my weight, and now I'm on a mission to become more and more bulk, and I'm consistently working out daily to improve my health and work productivity. Question number 6. Why should we hire you? When you're asked this question, this is what you need to do. Explain why you deserve this job without bragging. What I recommend doing is to make a general statement like, I'm a great fit for this position because blah blah blah, and then talk about your experiences, skills, and achievements. I'm not going to include an example here because I want you to be creative with this one and take your time with this one as well, not copy paste mine and change a couple words. Question number 7. What are your salary requirements? Now, I personally hate this question because it literally serves no other purpose than to possibly screw you over. I mean, if the salary is not already disclosed, the company already has a number in mind of how much they're willing to pay you. And if you lowball yourself, they're probably going to give you a lowballed salary that you asked for during the interview. And if you ask for a salary higher than what they expect to pay, they may take it as a personal attack and not hire you. I know, right? The nerves of some of these corporate people. But unfortunately, as much as I wish it is not illegal to ask this question. So you might as well prepare for it. So before the interview, you should have a good idea of what the average salary of someone with your skills is getting paid. You should also have an idea of the average salary of employees with the exact job you're interviewing for. You can usually find that information on Glassdoor unless you're interviewing for like a very early stage company and not a whole lot of people have previously worked there. Now keep all of those numbers considered into determining the salary you believe you deserve. It is also a good idea to give a range. That way the company can't lowball you or judge you based off one number. I also recommend giving an explanation on why you deserve the salary. That way it may be a little bit easier to negotiate. Question number 8. Are you considering other positions in other companies? So just like the last question, I dislike this question as well, because one of the purposes of this question is to detect red flags. But I think I like this question a little bit more, and here's why. While I hate how this question is often used to see how dedicated you are, or whether or not you have any other options so that they can underpay you since this is your only option, which I personally think is a great example of an abuse of power. However, the good thing about this question is that this question can also be asked if the recruiter senses competition in hiring you, which obviously could potentially help you. Now, normally I discourage lying in job interviews because in most cases your lies will come out at the worst time possible, but in this case, I think not telling the truth is the better option here, because I really don't think it's the company's business to worry if I'm considering other options. If they really want me, they should have already given me an offer without even asking this question. So regardless if you're considering other options, you should always express that you're keeping your options open, but you favor this job over others, even if that is not entirely true. What this tells recruiters is that you're definitely dedicated and interested in this job, but there's a solid level of competition in hiring you. Maybe they'll do whatever they can to secure you by offering you a higher salary or a bigger sign-on bonus. Question number 9. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So like the last question, you may not want to be 100% honest with this question either. I mean, obviously, I think most of us would like to see ourselves get rich quick and retire on the beach in 5 years. But please don't respond to this question like that. You also don't want to brag or say something cocky like, I want to be in your seat in 5 years, or I want to be the big boss here in 5 years. Instead, you want to be realistic. Talk about the steps above your position and what you want to accomplish within the next 5 years with this company. Here's my example response. Within the next 5 years, I'd like to reach the position of a senior account manager. During the time period, I would like to help at least 20 companies improve their business and generate more revenue. I would also like to create a personal network of highly specialized professionals. Question number 10. Do you have any questions for me? I can almost promise you that in just about every interview you attend, unless you completely bombed it, your recruiter will ask if you have any other questions. And your answer needs to always be yes. This is your last opportunity to show the recruiter that you're dedicated and you belong. And I don't think there's any better way to show your recruiter that you're dedicated than to ask your recruiter how you could excel in this company. I've seen a lot of TikToks about particular questions you should ask, and some of the responses are not too great in my opinion. You really don't want to be too creative here and ask your recruiter a question that your recruiter may not know the answer to. So obviously don't ask anything about the CEO or ask how fast you can get promoted or anything along those lines. But here are 3 questions I definitely do recommend asking. The first question is, how could I exceed my expectations for this role? The second question is, how is your experience working with this company? The third question to ask is, how did you start out in this company? So those are 10 common interview questions I often witness and my responses to them. Let me know if there's any other common questions that you have previously encountered that I did not mention in this video. Good luck with your interviews, keep doing what you love, and I'll see you guys next time.